Hello and welcome back to the Perth to Paisley podcast. It's episode 104, and what a week it has been for Heart of Midlothian Football Club. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those episodes where one of us, that way, is a lot angrier than the other one. And I'm going to introduce him now before he already explodes. I, as ever, am Daniel McIver, joined by the wonderfully happy, upbeat and positive Adam Kennedy. Adam, how are you doing?
You sound like my parents when they take the piss out of me. Fantastic. Yeah, great.
You really sound it.
I'm just overjoyed with how well we're performing on the park and how big mugs we are taking off it. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I just bought some new books. I'm getting my hair cut soon. So everything's going great for me.
Why don't we just talk about the books and your haircut for this?
Yeah, I got Billy Connolly's autobiography,
nice.
Windswept and Interesting, and James A.
Caster's. Keen on Billy Connolly, but
you're
James
not keen
Caster.
on. Right, wait, hold on.
Overrated.
Fuck everything that we're going to speak about in this. Billy Connolly, in your eyes, is overrated.
Yeah. I've just got to be honest. I've just got to be honest and come out and say stuff that I really want to say. I've been reining it in for far too long. So there's a start. Overrated.
Right. No wonder he talks shit about football when he has shite comedy opinions like that. However, we're going to hear what other shite he has to say, as we've got two games to talk about. Neither of them were wins, disappointingly.
Shock horror.
Yeah, exactly.
What a surprise. That coming.
What a surprise. The first one was against a slightly grander level of opposition. I hope Kilmarnock fans don't take offence to that. Apologies for that big statement. But the Titans of Italian football, Fiorentina, travelled to Gorgie last Thursday in the Europa Conference League, our second home game in said tournament. Fiorentina were coming in off this, and for them, poor run of form. We also weren't in the best ourselves. So there was a lot of discourse around this in terms of, are they there for the taking? Who knows? They're obviously going to be an excellent
along
team.
Came Hearts, as they do. Good old Hearts.
Well, along came Hearts in perhaps a surprising way, because initially the alarm bells start to sound when the team comes out.
Is that not just any match day that Heart Midlothian ever have? Like, regardless of opposition.
That's probably
it's always something to moan at before we've even kicked the ball. So
yeah, it's very true. Because Robbie Nielsen changed shape and personnel from the 4-0 loss to Rangers in the league at the weekend past, as he changed the system back to a 3/5, whatever way you want to look at it, as he went Gordon in goals, Halliday and Smith as wing-backs, Nielsen, Kingsley and Cochrane as three centre-halves, a midfield 2 of Keogh and Grant, and then a 3 of Mackay, Ginnelly and Shankland. Now, the obvious thing from this was that the player that was universally agreed to be the best player against Rangers, Stephen Humphreys, was dropped, and the man who there was a lot of debate within Scottish football after the Rangers game, after his red card, Cammy Devlin.
I don't think there was a lot of debate. I think there was a lot of
discourse around him.
Animosity, perhaps.
Yes.
Or overreaction, or just a general negative view on young Cammy Devlin.
That's a better way of putting it. He was also dropped. Now, when I saw the team, I immediately messaged you going, what are we doing dropping Devlin? But how did you feel in your initial reaction when you saw the team come out?
You said it there, McIver. Like, Robbie Nielsen talks about rotation constantly, all the time. All the time we're told, it doesn't appear as though we have the squad to combat playing on a Thursday as well as playing on a Sunday. Cammy Devlin was suspended for the weekend's fixture against Kilmarnock, therefore unable to play. Cammy Devlin has been arguably, probably, our best player in European competition this season, particularly at Tynecastle, in my opinion. So we're going to rest him or put him on the bench to make a point about his deserved sending off, but like bring him on with 20 minutes to go, despite the fact that he can't play at the weekend and will probably most likely be back in for the Fiorentina away leg.
Do you think that's what it was? Do you think it was a
Well, it
punishment?
has to be, because now Robbie seems to have some sort of, I don't know, some sort of unwritten rule whereby if you're sent off, you're automatically punished for the next game, because that's wholeheartedly unacceptable. In some instances, I don't blame the players for making the challenges that they make. That was certainly the case at Parkhead with Cochrane and Sibic. Lewis Nielsen's is a bit more daft. Cammy Devlin's was daft. But to instantly bench somebody, I could not believe that Devlin didn't start that game. Could not believe it. It makes literally no sense.
Especially when you're playing against a team whose main strength, regardless of their domestic woes and European woes, is that they will have a lot of the ball in possession, and Devlin is our best.
Exactly.
Devlin's our best current midfielder generally, but he's also, the reason he's so good is because his biggest strength is also breaking up possession.
You can say what you like about Cammy Devlin with regards to his positioning, but there is one thing for certain in this, and that is that he will absolutely run himself into the ground.
Yeah.
Why would you give quality players time on the ball at Tynecastle? Why do that? You're just asking to be punished. I noticed the manager come out and saying, "Oh, I'd rather us be proactive than reactive." So then there's been some form of communication that isn't right. Either he's not informing us as to what's going on, or the squad aren't taking his instructions on board and doing what the gaffer tells them. There has to be some sort of breakdown there. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on.
Well, clearly the decision was to play a system that was based within surrendering possession to a better side and hoping to then, when we translate into that, we pick up the ball. In transition, we then counter, which is why I saw some people were surprised that Ginnelly started. I thought Ginnelly was going to be the first name on the team sheet because I assumed that was the way we were going to play. Yeah. Now, it didn't work. Like, it didn't work at all.
No, but when you've got, like, George Grant isn't a ball winner in the middle of the park. If he'd have set up with both Kilmarnock and Devlin, I could fully understand it. And that both aren't probably going to give you the license to get forward. If anything, I think you'd probably then be having 4 players that get forward. Michael Smith didn't have the legs for it. Andy Halliday has an eye for goal upon occasion, so will most likely roam from the left wing back spot. And then you've got Shankland, Ginnelly, and obviously Mackay. But just I could not believe that he did not start. And then he brings him off. Or sorry, he brings him on with 20 minutes to go or whatever.
He brought him on with 40 minutes to go.
Did he?
Yeah, it was immediately after
I
the
thought
Nielsen.
He brought him on about 70 minutes or maybe an hour.
Him and Humphreys both came on the 50th minute.
Why not make the change at half time?
I think it was because of the Nielsen red card.
Was that as early as that?
The Nielsen red card came 3 minutes into the second half.
I've got my timings off. I do apologise. it's obviously good. I've obviously started drinking for going to Florence already. I genuinely, mate, I've never felt so uninspired by a game in my entire life. I thought Fiorentina looked good, but we've made them look far better than I believe they are. And I cannot wait for them, having just been beaten off Lazio last night as we record, 4-0 at home, for Heart Midlothian to rock up and give them just the perfect remedy to bounce back into some sort of form. It's a real laugh.
Well, the game immediately started as badly as it possibly could have, as within 3 minutes, Fiorentina score with their first chance. They work it out to the left through Jovic, and then it gets played out to the right-hand side. The ball's crossed in, and this will very much be a theme this episode, as it has been a theme for Hearts since the first leg against Zurich, when Craig Halkett pulled up. Yeah. We can't win headers in a box, as Mandragora wins a free header, puts them 1-0 up. Stephen Kingsley turns and goes absolutely ballistic at Lewis Nielsen, who, when you watch it back, is so flat-footed.
I don't think it. I think it's partly at Lewis Nielsen and partly at George Grant for not tracking the runner.
Grant doesn't track the runner. That's the first thing. but Lewis Nielsen is completely flat-footed. Gordon then also doesn't move at all. I'm not saying he should come and claim for it. That's not what I'm saying, because it is into the defensive area.
He just looks stranded, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's when the actual header comes towards him, he doesn't seem to move at all. And it is just the worst possible start.
What do you want me to say? Did anybody expect any different? The only surprise for me was that after maybe a minute, 90 seconds, we looked like scoring, till the linesman put his flag up. Other than that, that was about it. I don't know why anybody expected anything other than that.
I definitely expected this. I got this exact scoreline.
Rabbit bastard in this episode, I tell you. Because I'm so riled up. I'm so angry, so annoyed.
I'm a lot more not optimistic, but I'm a lot more. I said this last week. I was like, I think I said literally we'll get beat 3-0. And I was just like, yeah, this is what's happening. So I expected it immediately. As I sat down, I was like, we're going to get battered here.
I'm going to say something that'll go down really poorly, and everybody will take it the wrong way. But there's ways to get beat. That's not one of them. If they genuinely, if everybody gave 100% and they played us, you know what? Sometimes you lose to the better team.
I think that was the issue.
Are by far a better team than us. McIver, come on.
I think it was tactically.
We were that deep. Some of the boys were raging that they'd left their snorkels and their goggles in the house.
That's not an issue with trying or want to win. That's an issue tactically.
Right.
That's not being outfought.
So hold on a second. So who does that come from then?
Well, what that comes from is, as I said, immediately it was like, we've set up for this wrong. This is set up not necessarily wrong. The tactic of allowing them that much time without Devlin
is criminal.
I think if Devlin had started, and the rest of the team played the exact same way, I think it would have been a lot better. Because yes, there's an aspect of Devlin's good at pressing, but you need others to press. But what Devlin would do is Amrabat for them sat in the hole, and all he did was it just kept getting fed into him, and he would then play it left or right or allow it to come through the middle.
He had the pipe and slippers on. My
Devlin
God,
would be sitting on him. So it doesn't matter. It's almost irrelevant if the rest of the team had pressed, because as long as Devlin had pressed him, it would have required him to make passes quicker. And as a result, that allows players like Gino. It wouldn't allow Mackay because it's a big game. So there's no point in ever playing him.
God, don't even get me started on him.
What's the point?
The weekend's even worse. But
the weekend is even worse. But yeah, I know what you mean by ways to lose. I think though I think it's harsh to say it when there's such a disparity between the teams. If it's like, for example, if we'll get to it at the very end of the show, but if someone hadn't equalised, I think that's a better example of that. There's ways to lose where it's like, if you really try, it's like, okay, well, listen, that's fair.
The Zurich defeat at Tynecastle was a sucker punch because we ultimately peppered them that first half. Don't take your chances. Obviously, go down to 10 men. I'm
more annoyed at the Zurich game though than this. I feel way more angry about the Zurich game than that.
Yeah,
and people would say though, "Oh well, no, we lost in the right way."
But again, it's disparity in quality.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the big thing for me. Like, there always needs to be context for it.
But that's the takeaway. The selection is unforgivable.
I think I definitely disagree on the selection. Then a few things happen quite quickly. The Fiorentina keeper looks to handball it outside the box, which will be a theme for this episode.
Yeah,
nothing given. It then ends up actually at Barry Mackay, who plays a ball in, finds Michael Smith, but ends up straight down the keeper. Yeah. A few minutes later, corner Fiorentina, Luka Jovic wins it. Again, they're not winning headers in the box.
A warning.
Heads it over the bar. Their centre half, Igor, pushes forward. And
can I just say, I've seen many an opposition player at Tynecastle, I genuinely believe that Igor fella is one of the biggest I have ever seen.
He was huge.
In every single sense. His legs were like tree trunks. He was absolutely enormous. I was thinking, this guy is a brick shithouse. If I was a Josh Ginnelly or a Lauren Shankland, sort of on that side, I'd be looking around after the first challenge, just saying, take me off. I'd be kidding on Adahami. Not a chance would I be wasting my evening getting kicked up and down the park by him. And he can play a bit as well.
Yeah.
He looks a top player. I knew nothing about him. I think everybody had kind of spoken about the fella in the middle of the park, Bonaventura.
Yeah, Bonaventura,
obviously,
Milan,
Luka Jovic, whatever. But that fella at the back, I was very, very impressed.
Definitely. He just kind of drives forwards, hits a shot of Gordon from the edge of the box, but Gordon tips it round. And then, interestingly, that was in the 20th minute. Up until then, their second goal in the 41st minute, I actually felt for that 20-minute period, we still didn't get as many touches, but I felt we immediately, I don't know what happened. I think in that period of time, Cochrane did that press that made everybody like get up and stand on their feet.
I mean, that speaks volumes in itself. Yeah, do you know what? Alex Cochrane, I didn't perhaps give him the necessary praise last season. I know that you were absolutely delighted for them, and there was countless others. Yeah, we get it. But
there wasn't countless others. There was like me and two others who was doing it.
No, there was a couple. But anyway, this season, he's developing into one of my favourite players.
He's our player of the season so far.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Particularly from a defensive standpoint. Because what I will say is Cochrane's still a young defender, and that's pretty clear when you watch him. But in terms of getting stuck in, I think he's perhaps the most likely in our entire squad that will be, I was going to say eager to roll his sleeves up, but he wears short sleeves, so that's a daft analogy. I was going to say he never shies away or hides from a tackle, loves getting stuck in, and he just does his job really well, can pick out a pass as well from the back, one of few players that actually looks to get it forward rather than dicking about with it or going sideways or back to Craig or whatever. I actually think he's one of the few in our defence that looks to play forward because he knows that perhaps he's not as gifted on the ball as somebody else, but loves a tackle, loves getting stuck in, and yeah, he's just everywhere. And that, to me, just epitomised it. How can the left centre half be the guy that presses the opposition goalkeeper? It reminded me of Andy Robertson, where there's that clip where he does it for Liverpool, and the whole crowd, like you say, everybody gets up for it. Where the hell was that from Andy Halliday at left wing back, Keir Murtsoglu or Grant in the middle of the park? The midfield was non-existent.
I thought Keir was all right.
Non-existent.
Again, so like Keogh, I made notes on Keogh and Cochrane. Funnily enough, you just mentioned them there. So Cochrane won 100% of his aerial duels, which was quite interesting. I was surprised. And he's not the
largest either.
No, he definitely struggled with his ground duels because he was the player he's up against was Luka Jovic, and Jovic was kind of just
all right.
Yeah, exactly.
But if anything, I'd expect him to struggle more against Jovic in the air than on the deck. 100%. So again, that sort of plays back into what I was saying, but on you go.
On the flip side, Keogh made 6 recoveries in the first half alone, which was more than any player in the entire game. His pass accuracy was 81%. His long ball pass accuracy was a bit less, but obviously that's because you're just relying on Shankland or Gino to run onto it and get it, and they're up against that big guy, Igor.
Ben shelling it long all the time.
Well, have you seen the graph that made its way around today on social media? It was a graph that showed, I think it was the Premiership, Championship, and League One teams, I think. And what?
Actually, no, I did see this because the East Kilbride assistant shared it.
Yes. So
yes. Sorry, I did see this.
We actually play the 5th least amount of long balls in the 3 leagues in Scotland.
What does that say about Scottish football?
Greenock Morton played 25% of Greenock Morton's passes are long balls. That's incredible. I know we're speaking about Hearts Fiorentina,
every
but
4
still.
passes just being lumped long.
Yeah. That's insane.
If I was Dougie Imrie, admittedly, I've not got much here, but I'd be tearing it out. I really would. 1 in 4.
But yeah, I thought there was issues with Keogh in terms of he was getting overrun, but I think that's because they had 3 in the middle. We had 2, and both of them are quite static. They're not like Devlin, little balls of energy who can.
Not the quickest big Keogh, is he?
No, exactly, because that's not. He's a 6. Like that's his role as a 6 is to just break up play and play it.
I'm not going to be too critical because then I'll look to be a hypocrite. But so far, I just see a younger Peter Haring.
That to me is more than enough. I'm buzzing with that.
I don't think he takes quite as long on the ball as Big Pete. Maybe did on Sunday, but
I've enjoyed Keogh so far. I've enjoyed him
so far, and he can turn it around. But for me, I'm yet to be impressed. As I am with George Grant, if I'm honest, I'm just going to come out and say it.
I'm very unimpressed with George Grant.
Like, for the supposed money that we've paid, what has he actually done?
He was good against Tranmere in pre-season.
Everybody was talking about was it one of the wasn't the Derby Easter Road, or maybe it was the Ross County game, saying that his delivery was good.
It was the Ross County game when he came on.
The Ross County game. I'm yet to see a decent delivery. And I'm not as impressed as certain others. I'm really not. I think the middle of the park's another problem issue. Honest to God, I'm just waiting on my Congolese king getting back. I miss him so much.
I don't think we can rely on him because I worry. No? I worry that what his injury's done to him. I'm just terrified. I hope he's a John Suter where he just comes back and seems like fine, like his game hasn't been affected. I'm terrified.
Yeah, runs his heart steel down, signs for a new club, and then gets injured for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm really worried about Benny's injury that he does come back not the same player. We won't know until he comes back.
I'm depressed enough. Please don't.
But anyway,
why would you even suggest that?
To contribute to your depression, Fiorentina got a second goal right before the end of the half. Kawani scores an acrobatic volley after Jovic does quite well to put pressure on defence from the left-hand side. And yeah, I think Gordon should do better here.
Interesting. Of Craig Gordon's past performances within certainly this last week, this is the one that you pick fault with?
Yeah, because I think he's had his 3 worst games for us in a row. I think Rangers,
can't disagree, to be honest.
Yeah,
It was absolutely outstanding at Fir Park.
Yeah, I know. It's so, and that's the thing. I don't think many people are going to criticise Gordon as much because it's like, well, we've got all this other side of like how many points he won us last season. So I think it's pretty fair that he doesn't get the same level of criticism.
That probably speaks volumes to me about the state that we're in. If the club captain, the most experienced player in the squad by a country mile, is not performing to his best, then we're as good as done.
Well, we were done at that point because then they knew we scored again. Halliday was totally static and allows Kawami again to get a ball back across, ends up at Gordon's feet. We then have our main chance just before the end of the half where Halliday crosses the ball at the box, the ball's fumbled, but then Gino can't get it past the keeper. I agree with Jimmy Sanderson where it's not a good save, it's a bad shot.
Yeah, he's got to score.
Yeah, I think
he's got to score across the keeper. That was right in front of me again. Like, if we get into the break at 2-1 down, yes.
Who knows what's going to happen?
I've had a mountain to climb at 2-0 down. But we've seen, actually, I can't believe I'm about to praise the squad here. We've seen them come from 2 down, albeit, as you alluded to earlier, it's not quite the same calibre of opposition. However, it can be done. 2-1 going into half-time is a far different team talk than 0-2.
Very much so. But it wasn't to be...
Of course, he misses. So that was effectively that. That was the only Hearts chance. Sorry to keep continuously cutting you off. That was the only Hearts chance that the BT Sports highlights package showed. British Telecom showed one British team's highlights in a European match when they're playing at home. Wow.
Then second half starts. Halliday, I do not understand why people keep telling Halliday to shoot. why the crowd keeps saying to Halliday. He had that. It's the derby. It's literally the derby that makes him.
I'd rather him than a couple others.
I would not.
I think in this squad, in that starting 11, I think he's probably 4th, 5th on my list.
Barring Keogh is last for me.
No, I'm not having that.
Because Gino's a natural. All the forwards should be ahead of him. So Shankland, Mackay, Gino should all be forward.
Shankland and Mackay definitely are. Josh Ginnelly, jury's still out.
Well, Gino scored more goals for us. So I'd have the guy that scored more goals.
Okay,
Grant should.
But he does play as a winger. Andy Halliday's played everywhere.
Yeah, but he wasn't then. He was playing left wing back.
I've seen him score more I've seen him score a fair few goals from left wing back, no?
I think 2?
St Mirren.
Wasn't he playing centre mid then?
No, I think he was on the left of a back.
I cannot remember that far back.
Oh, look,
I just remember the goal.
I think he's got a better eye for goal than Josh Ginnelly.
I don't.
I said it.
I don't.
Yeah, I said it.
I think Gino scored 3 times the amount of goals as Halliday. I don't think. I think Gino scored 9. Has Gino scored 9?
I would expect a forward player to.
Wait, has Halliday scored 3? 2 in the derby.
I've got no idea, mate. I don't have these figures to hand. I'm not London Hearts. But anyway, the point I was going to make, Mackay, Shankland, and maybe Kingsley from a set piece. So Halliday's probably 4th on my list.
No, I'd put Smith above him as well.
Oh, you're joking.
Smith scored like 12 goals for us or something.
Smith's been here for bloody ages.
Yeah, but most of them have come from edge of the box as well. So actually, in that exact situation, Smith has scored most of his goals.
I'm not having that.
But
I'm not having that. Halliday's 4th on my list, definitely.
Then the game's definitely done, as Lewis Nielsen, who was absolutely horrific all night. I'm not going to hold it against him because he's 19 and he's up against a ridiculous level standout.
A bit of context.
Like
he's up against a £50 million striker.
£55 million.
If we'd have got our finger out our arse since John Souttar was leaving for Rangers in bloody January, we could have actually had a right-sided centre-half. Surely a right-sided centre-half is easier to find than a left-sided one, but we'll go for the left-sided one because he's Australian, and we've had a 50% success rate when it comes to Australian.
He's been the best Australian that we've signed, in fairness.
Okay.
You can't insult Kai Rolls in this. Kai Rolls has been
I'm not. I'm happy with Kai Rolls, but we needed Kai Rolls or another, probably and another on that right-hand side.
Do you think, by the way, a part of this is just like Kai Rolls tangent. Do you think Kai Rolls, regardless of being a left-sided centre-half, the plan was to play him in the right
Probably. No one else getting set up. Definitely.
Yeah. But do you think it's a right?
It looks cool because he shifts back from the right-hand side onto his left foot and we just keep possession in amongst the back 3,
that does sound good,
4/5.
That does sound good.
Fuck off.
I'm in favour of that.
Oh, do me a favour.
I'd love
count
it.
Me out.
That'd be class. That'd be amazing if all our defenders
that'd be great.
could play
Yeah,
ball.
just watching Halkett to Kingsley to Rolls, back to Gordon. Oh, we might branch out to Cochrane at left wing.
And then he plays a raker of a ball and we're in. That's the game plan.
Oh my God, honestly. It's actually like I'm sat next to Robbie.
Anyway, it's definitely a red.
Oh, without a doubt. He's last man.
I don't understand the discourse.
By the letter of the law, it's a red card.
Yeah, I don't get it. But anyway, you apparently missed it, but then 2 minutes later, Humphreys and Devlin both come on. You just
I honestly thought that was later on.
No.
The extent I went to get to this game and the pricks decided to not even turn up after, 3 minutes?
So,
do one Hearts.
That then was probably our best period because Humphreys is good and people judged him after a game and were very wrong to do so.
Yeah, it's our best period because they've not even had to break sweat. They're 2-0 up, cruising. No wonder we're getting back in the game. Why do we miss the key point here? The game was done. That was it.
Yeah, but you can focus on them as positives.
I like Stephen Humphreys, but the guy's not coming off the bench to net a hat-trick against Fiorentina and turn the tie in our favour.
Well, he nearly did. because he went on a really nice run.
But he didn't.
Yeah, he went on a really nice run, though. So let him have it.
In fairness, I actually do really like him. We'll get on to him in the Kelly game.
Yeah.
But Wigan must be absolute world beaters. I'd love to see who they have up front.
I've seen a lot of Wigan fans raging this weekend.
Is it that boy Callum Lang that was at Motherwell?
I know nothing about Wigan.
They must be unbelievable if he's not getting a game.
Well, Humphreys goes on a great run, but then keeps getting shut down, can't eventually get a shot off. Gordon then saves an effort from Jovic. Saponara, if that's how you say it, fires well over inside the box. And then the third goal comes in the 78th minute, because I realise we've spent ages on Fiorentina. Humphreys gets the ball, and it's like a game where just suddenly 10 people are around him. Because clearly Fiorentina went, right, he is their main positive. Let's just forget about marking the rest of their team. Let's just mark him.
They were like me looking at that boy Igor. It was like, the size of this fella.
Yes.
And he's quite quick and he's
exactly.
A bit of a threat. He's a bit of a handful.
So he can't do anything. He loses the ball to 8 guys at once. They then break in a 4-on-2. It's played across the face of the box.
Make their numerical advantage count, something that we've done once, I think, in 24 years, and that was away to Riga.
And Luka Jovic passes it calmly. It's actually a really good finish because he's like sliding.
I do love when a team gets hit on the counter. It just there's something that is aesthetic.
You just stood up and applauded.
I think
shit kicked out.
Oh no, I got the hell out of there. But I genuinely think, because we've been so starved of it as Hearts fans, I quite like seeing a team make it count. They've just soaked up enough pressure and then bang, see you later.
We seem to always do it against Dundee United. I can think of like 3 last season where we did it, and all of them are against Dundee United.
My mind's gone blank. Genuinely,
I mean, especially at Tynecastle, we scored 2 of our goals against them at Tynecastle just by breaking, and it was like Aaron McInnes on his own, and it's just like, oh, I've got all the time in the world here. But that was all she wrote. 3-0 Fiorentina.
That's that, as far as the group's concerned, lads.
That is it. For me personally, it is now very much just like, right, play the players that we're going to rest on against Fiorentina and RFS.
Let's continue to talk about resting and, not play a player when they're eligible for this game, but not eligible for our next game.
Obviously, I'm not going to Florence, so I don't care about your enjoyment. So I would just be playing GMS.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
I'd be playing GMS and all that.
Yeah,
but you and Henderson.
Yeah, it's not like hundreds of Hearts fans have forked out hundreds of pounds just to go and watch us in a game that we've got absolutely no chance of winning. And that is your attitude. Wow.
I'm not one of them.
I thought you were for the working man, McIver, but it's evident to see that.
I am. I'm the working man who's not got enough money to go. I'm the proper working man in this scenario. I genuinely would. I'd be like prioritising the league. So like we've got Aberdeen this weekend. So
I swear to God, if I couldn't get any angrier enough at the manager, if I see Gary Mackay-Steven in that starting 11 in Italy, I genuinely
want it so badly.
I think I'll make my way to Bologna Airport there and then.
I want it so badly. Just for you, just to annoy you specifically. I want it
and just
so
see him
badly.
Like leap up for a header that he's got absolutely no desire or chance of winning.
It'll be class. But then,
that was great. Sorry, before we get on to Kilmarnock, this is where my perception in the last week has really changed. Because I'm angry, if you can't already tell.
I can't help believe it's taken you 40 minutes to say it bluntly. We were all waiting for it because you were so calm prior.
Because literally, I'm actually starting to think that this squad are on the wind-up or don't appreciate... Like Hearts, genuinely, as a football club, I firmly believe that Hearts don't appreciate the fan base that we actually have, the efforts that people go to. I've seen a good 50 different routes for people getting to Edinburgh, to Florence this week. And I swear, if they don't even put in 100% should be a minimum requirement from me. But if anybody thinks about sacking it off, I'm not interested. Don't care who you are.
No player does that, though. No player goes out going, I can't be arsed. I'm remaining tight-lipped. I'm not so sure.
But
at our level, no one does.
Literally, I came back worked the Friday, early morning down here. I thought I'll leave, got back down here for 12:30, submitted some uni work because admittedly that was my fault and it was due for 12 o'clock the next day when I finished my shift. So I literally slept from half one, got up at 3:30 for work, was practically suicidal on the drive into work thinking, this is shite. That wasn't worth it last night. How pish was that? Honest to God, if those pricks even saw what me and countless other folk do to go and watch them play and play as poorly as that.
Again,
still can't wait for Florence. It'll be great. I'll be in the last row of pals. It'll be fantastic.
I think context is very much required to this. Like, as you said, we're up against a £5 million striker, Bonaventura, who has won the Serie A, Amrabat, who's played in the Premier League. Like, you said, the biggest guy you've ever seen play at Tynecastle.
Yeah, but it's so routine for them, McIver.
But of course it is, because this is like us playing East Kilbride. Funnily enough, it's that equivalent. Or us playing when we played Auchinleck.
Need to bounce back after the weekend. I'm not so sure.
But this is the thing. I totally understand.
Beat off the blue Brazil. What a time to be alive.
I totally understand frustration, anger, but I think it all needs to be contextualized because that wasn't even our strongest 11. That was actually nowhere near our strongest 11.
So who's at fault then? Because
no one's at fault.
No,
there doesn't need to be a fault.
No, but we actually thought that we had a decent transfer window. Is that not the case? Have we not had as good a transfer window then, evidently?
The best player we signed in the window has only been able to play 3 games. That's a pretty...
And that's Kai Rolls.
That's Kai Rolls. That's a pretty big one.
Right,
Shankland has been fine. Like, in recent weeks, he's been off it.
It's been starved of service in recent weeks.
Definitely, but as we'll now get onto, he also did not take advantage of chances that he had as well, because Humphreys has been starved of service.
Come on. You're not picking out Shankland in and amongst this squad, surely.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is context to Shankland where I'm not going to pick it out because looking at the team, we're not playing to his strengths. But also, like Alan Forrest, I think he's been not excellent, but I think he's been very good so far for us.
That's been very good.
Right. But other people totally disagree. Like, look at Twitter and see that people are like, Alan Forrest has been terrible for us.
Who said Alan Forrest has been terrible for us?
My dad has been very unimpressed with Alan Forrest. He hasn't said he's been terrible. He hasn't said he's been shit, but he's been like, he's not doing it yet for me.
Has Graham been on the smack?
I don't know. But anyway, we played Kilmarnock with this team. This team,
great.
Without our 2 records, I said this because there's an account, I feel bad.
And probably the only winnable fixture this month.
One of 2.
Aside from Riga at home.
Oh, I forgot that was this month. 1 of 3.
What's the other one?
I think Ross County is winnable with the way they're playing this season. I'm not saying we will win it, but I think it's winnable. Also, I have no idea what to make of Aberdeen. We'll get to them now because
they're pish, but they'll still do us. We're going to go around the grounds. Sorry,
we'll go around the grounds because it was an interesting weekend of Scottish football action.
God bless the Cinch. Love our league.
So, Celtic in an interesting game is one way of putting it against St Johnstone, who equalised in the last minute and then somehow just go, actually, Dre, right? I'm just going to sit and go, I've really hurt my leg, lads. My leg's in so much pain, and allow Celtic to get a winner.
He has to have had Celtic on his coupon. Don't care what anybody says.
Hibs continued their tactic of only play against 10 men, and it inexplicably keeps working. And they won 1-0. Ross County, actually speaking about them, got a 1-0 win against Livingston.
Probably going to be run just as we come up to town.
Exactly.
Yeah, great.
Rangers confidently beat St Mirren, who cares about that? And then the biggest shock of the weekend was Dundee United get their first league win by absolutely hammering Aberdeen 4-0. What did you make of those results?
I said about Dre, right?
And obviously,
Celtic missed a barrel load of chances at St Johnstone. You got it back to 1-0 and you still pissed it away.
Listen,
carry on.
We've still got time in this podcast so anything can happen. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to factually state that Dundee United are 1-0 up against Hibs currently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There is only, it has only been playing for 29 minutes.
Interesting. I actually fancied Hibs to win that, so that's quite good.
Hibs are dominating, though.
Oh, of course they are. Talking about the weekend.
Yeah. Go back to that.
Hamel Ball, I can't work out.
Motherwell
must be the most infuriating Scottish club to support so far this season because they're either world beaters or rank. Can't wait for Ryan Porteous to leave Hibernian on a free transfer. That is going to be some buzz.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you not?
No, I think he's going to sign.
No, I don't think so. I think he's off. Hopefully. You're just saying that so that hopefully you're proven wrong. Rangers, I had to win 3-0, so shock fashion Sakala has to add one in injury time just to spite me. Actually, injury time goals were just a common theme of my predictions this week because I had 2-0 Celtic, albeit they had to eventually nick the winner, like I say. Rangers, what was the other Saturday game? Livingston, Ross County. I had Livy to comfortably beat Ross County because they were in dire form. And looking back at the highlights, probably should have done. Noticed David Martindale was raging, saying that he was adamant that Livingston dominated the game. I would not like to go into him in an angry dressing room. Dundee United, Aberdeen. Absolutely tremendous. But obviously, talking about our game, I can't really slate Ross McCrory's own goal, even though it is an absolute beauty. I'm not going to slate Aberdeen either because we know what's around the corner. Yeah. And that only results in one thing.
You're learning.
Thanks. And then, it's just us on the Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we made more changes.
What a great TV deal we have, can I just say? Because why would you make a game broadcastable in North America when, of course, what you're wanting to do in the States is watch Dundee United Aberdeen. Instead, you could have had a game on the Sunday for those that actually stay and live in Scotland. But no, why not?
Well, Robbie Neilson made changes. Lewis Neilson came out. Obviously, Devlin was suspended. Yeah, Devlin was suspended for the league game. So Snodgrass came in and Humphreys came in and Atkinson came in for Smith. We lined up in the 4-2-3-1, according to BBC, which I actually do think is basically right. Gordon, Halliday at left back, Cochrane and Kingsley as the two, Atkinson right back, Keogh and Snodgrass as the two in the middle, Humphreys, Mackay and Forrest in behind Shankland. And immediately, it should be 1-0 because Barry Mackay has the miss of the season. Keogh picks the ball up in the middle of the park, plays a nice ball through to Shankland, who does the most unselfish thing, the right thing to do, and just, much like how Luka Jovic scored their third on Thursday night, just passes it across the face of the box. You can see Snodgrass about to shoot and then suddenly stop because evidently he's had a shout of Barry's, and Barry Mackay misses from 6 yards. Not just misses, it puts it over the bar. I've got one question for you, Adam. Does Barry Mackay need time outside?
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Fair play.
It
summed up his current confidence and form.
Oh my God. It was literally up the other end and we could all see how much of a sitter it was.
I couldn't believe it.
Neither could I. Neither could I. Literally, they were released by Kilmarnock as a team. So he's got something of a point to prove against.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, there you go. That's a little bit of knowledge.
That makes it worse.
That for a quiz question. Oh, of course it does. How? That is up there. That has to be. That's up there with Paul McGinn against us.
Cut with GMS against Inverness.
Oh, or was it Dundee? I think it was Dundee.
Or was it against Dundee? I can't mind.
God,
someday. But yeah,
I'm a massive fan of Snodgrass. Then raging at Lauren Shankland. Rightly, but that was all Barry. I genuinely might think that was Barry Mackay's last touch of the ball.
Yeah, well, he plays a nice. He's involved in the goal.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't even. What goal?
I'll explain.
Second.
We'll get to it.
It's not the first, because that's a
first.
brilliant ball from Snodgrass.
We'll get to it. So,
he's the one that gives it back to Snodgrass and claims this hockey assist, then that is literally it.
Fuck is a hockey assist?
Is that not when you play the?
Do you mean the second assist?
You assist the assister.
Yeah, I didn't. Is that what that's called? A hockey assist?
That's a tangent that we'll go down. But you nip and say what we're going to say.
Basically, we actually played pretty dominantly for the first kind of 25 minutes as Halliday runs into trouble in the middle of the park, but then a free kick's given our way. Shankland wins a header for the corner, but heads it into the ground, and then Hemmings just claims it very easily. Snodgrass drives forward in the 20th minute, plays it Mackay, who lofts a ball in for Humphreys at the back post, but Humphreys just can't get it either way. He just ends up at seeing it into right into Hemmings' hands.
Can I just say, I saw folks say that was a sitter. I think that's harsh.
I think it's harsh to call it a sitter.
It's a chance he could and should do better with, but it's not a sitter.
No, I wouldn't say that's a sitter, but he's getting into the right places, which is great. That's what you want from him, because that's kind of been like the one thing that he's not been able to do yet. He's been the guy driving us forward. He's not been the guy receiving it. No, not at all. Not at all. So no,
I think that's him being asked to play a role that he's perhaps not all that familiar with.
That's very fair.
I like I say, we've be as well just talking about him now. I really like Stephen Humphreys.
I really like Stephen Humphreys as well.
I really do. I think he's got just about everything.
Yeah, and now he's got end product as well, which was kind of the main stumbling block.
That was sort of the only questionable thing. He's big, he's strong, he's quick, he hassles, he brings others into play. Yeah. I can't, Wigan must be outstanding.
Well, I saw
in offensive areas.
The goal we will get to was being shared on Twitter, and Wigan fan pages started sharing it, and every one of the tweets had replies going, "This is why we shouldn't have let him go. By accounts, he's done really well for Hearts. We clearly need him because they seem to be struggling up front. A lot of their goals seem to be coming from midfield, and they're just like, we don't have a striker and he's who we need."
And in fairness, loads of the fan base were quick to sort of slag off Joe Savage and Robbie Nielsen with sort of chucking the desperation tag at it. And there was various people that came out and said, it appears as though, or we've been tracking Stephen Humphreys for a little while now. Obviously, a situation has come up whereby Liam Boyce has got injured and we felt as though it's necessary to make our move. I actually do believe that. I feel as though this has been in the works for some time. I don't think there is any hint of desperation about it, because they've clearly done their research and known that whilst he's been starved of game time, there is a player in there. So
he's too suited to the system for it to be a panic
coincidence.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm a big fan. I'd quite like to see him start on Thursday, actually.
So with that, I fully agree. Keogh and Snodgrass, within 10 seconds of each other, both misplaced passes that leads to a chance which is easily claimed by Gordon, but then Gordon just chucks it straight to Jordan Jones, who cuts it back to Alan Power on the penalty spot. He should do, but Cochrane excellently jumps in front of it and blocks it out for a corner.
By this point, I was screaming my lungs out, because I don't care who's between the sticks. I have PTSD. I'm not a fan of modern day football and this obsession with playing out from the back. If you've got the personnel, by all means, crack on, go ahead, be my guest. The minute that you don't, and you continue to dick around with it at the back, it only leads to problems. As we see in this very game, we clearly don't have the personnel available to be passing it around at the back, minus one or two. Stephen Kingsley is playing on the right centre half. This is a guy that's a default left back by trade. Andy Halliday, supposedly a midfield player, playing at left back. Alex Cochrane, left back by trade, playing left centre half. Why persist and be adamant to play it out from the back? Both our goals come from a long ball, so I might have slagged it off earlier, but it's proved beneficial here. So then play long balls over the top. If we don't like the surface and we constantly moan about the surface, why are you insistent on playing it on said surface? Go long, and then obviously the free kick, that's That's just Chad's. A set piece that's poorly cleared, whatever. But it winds me up.
I think with our current personnel, sending it long constantly is even worse. Because now, with the exception of Humphreys, if we play him through the middle, we don't have anyone who can do anything.
I'll caveat that. If it's Shankland up front on his own, don't bother playing long balls.
Yeah. And also, we're up against Ash Taylor.
Yeah, because that's food and drink to him.
Yeah.
But if you're playing both Shankland and Humphreys, which I've actually voiced through a wee while that I'd quite like to see, then flick-ons. The Hearts are built on... Look, how am I wording this? Hearts have never been a possession-based team. Ever. Like, ever. Hearts have been big, physical, a target man up top, runners about them. Or successful Hearts teams have tended to be that way. So why not just stick to what we're supposed to be good at?
Because that's not how football works anymore.
But why?
Because the game's evolved past that, even at our level. Not to the extent of the top level. It's not like you can't do it, because you can do it. But why
is two up top a dying breed?
Because it doesn't work as much anymore, because defenders just now get to go, especially with three at the back. Defenders just go, right, we'll put two centre-halves there, and then we've got a floater to sit back deep.
Hold on a second. We were both calling out for 3-5-2 in the Championship, or is that just because it's a lower level?
It's a Championship, so you can do whatever the fuck you want there. You can play a 6 at the back, a 6 up front, and if you're competent, you'll get out that league, because it's a terrible league.
I mean, you'll have a good couple players more than you perhaps should, so that's, nice.
Like, the point is...
back, 6 up front.
No, I mean like either. I don't mean together.
I'm joking.
The Championship, as we explained the entire time we were there, is a terrible league that has no good teams in it, with the exception of whoever gets relegated most times, because they tend to be all right.
No good teams in it whatsoever.
So no, exactly. But when we went down, even though there was games where we didn't look like we knew what we were doing, we were still winning 3-0. Because it's like, as long as you vaguely have talent, you're going to do all right there. At now the level we're at, it's very hard to just play 4-4-2. It just doesn't work, especially because if you have two up top, it means you sacrifice one in the middle. Most teams play with 3 in the middle of the park, so you get completely overrun in the middle of the park, and your two up top are just isolated.
With 3 in the middle of the park.
I think we are. I'd like us to play 3. I like us when we play a 3.
Who would your 3 be?
If everybody's fit, my 3 would be on like form.
Let me guess. Oh, if everybody's fit.
If everybody's fit.
You have Keogh and Devlin as 2 nailed on.
Right.
And I was going to say if everybody's fit, you maybe chuck Benny Beningame in there.
I think that's too defensive unless you're playing.
Oh, that's good.
Unless you're playing Devlin advanced. I'd play Devlin
like a mad bastard.
Yeah, but he's bad when he's in the box. He can't score. I'd want a 3 with like one of them being a 10.
I'll pass that on.
Yeah. I mean, look at the evidence, Cammy. It's there.
McIver didn't even see your only Hearts goal in person.
Exactly. I'd probably play Devlin, Benny, and then Shankland in the 10 with Humphreys, Mackay, and Forrest as a front 3.
See, I don't mind that. Because Shankland would be a runner.
Yeah, that's a 3.
But that's technically a 2, isn't it? I mean,
no, because I'd want him as a 10. I wouldn't want him overlapping with Humphreys. I'd want him. Well, then you play Humphreys as the 10, and Shankland is the number 9. Humphreys wins flick-ons from a 10.
I don't know. I mean, I hear debates with regards to Rangers team selection that they should go Cholak and Morelos up front.
I don't think that would work.
Is that just because of personnel?
Yeah, I don't think that would work. Cholak clearly works really well when he's on his own and can lead a line.
And in fairness, if you're taking it back to the Hearts squad, right wing back's a problem area because everybody can be convinced by Nathaniel Atkinson, and Michael Smith evidently doesn't have the legs.
Yeah, well, there's
a laugh following Hearts, honestly.
Right at the end of the first half, there's a potential penalty shout from Alex Cochrane, which he tries to pass it back to Gordon, doesn't get the contact, so he puts his hand on Blair Alston. Killie are furious.
Looked it to me, to be honest.
But when you were there, obviously, in the moment, I thought it was, but then you see the replay. There's no sharp pull. There's no grab.
Oh, okay.
He just puts his hand on him, and Alston falls back. So I think the referee's got that spot
honestly,
on.
I can't bear to watch this game back.
And then second half comes
here,
and immediately,
remarkably, it's 0-0 at half time. Somehow, inexplicably, it's 0-0 at half time.
Yeah, because both sides had really good chances I think 1-1 would have been a better result potentially. Yeah, actually, in fairness though, their two chances we dealt with very well. The only reason we didn't go ahead in the break is because Barry Mackay's poor finishing.
I genuinely don't even think we did a great deal after Mackay's.
No, not at all. But Mackay's is such a big chance that it's like you should be scoring that.
Oh, he has to score. Yeah. But in terms of Kelly opportunities as well, yeah.
They didn't do that much. But then they did something immediately as the second half started. It's a corner, another free header. Chris Stokes ends up scoring it because it just kind of pinballs around the place because we lose the initial header. It's 1-0 Killie. It's another ball into the box that we've not won that Halkett isn't there for. Or Rolls isn't there for.
Chris Stokes doesn't even start for Killie at centre back.
In fairness though, he literally falls into it. Like it isn't like a great hit or anything.
How does Kilmarnock Sogley not clear it as well?
Because his foot gets stuck. I've watched it back and he literally goes to swing and his foot gets stuck and he looks down at his foot as if like, is my foot just broken? Like, why is my foot not working? And it comes across, and as a result, then it ends up at Chris Stokes' feet. And Gordon and Cochrane are trying to keep it out the goal, but it ends up going in.
And if that was bad enough,
then disaster for Craig Gordon as Andy Halliday plays an interesting, I'll say that, back pass to him.
Because why would we look forward as Hearts do?
Lafferty nearly gets on the end of the back pass. Lafferty's like a yard away from touching it onto his foot, but ends up at Gordon's feet. His foot gets stuck in the turf. Or do you call it? Yeah, AstroTurf. And
yeah, it is a turf.
Yeah, Lafferty just tackles it into the net and it's 2-0. And at this point, you're like, well, that's the game done as well. That's it. There's half an hour left.
I was actually meaning to chuck out a tweet beforehand saying which Kilmarnock centre forward that previously played their football in Edinburgh is the most likely to score against Hearts today. And I was going to run a little Twitter poll and have Ollie Shaw, Christian Deutsch, Kyle Lafferty, because it was
nailed on.
Inevitable.
Yeah. But then,
obviously, wouldn't have wanted to. But hold on a second. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Don't just cover over this Gordon mistake as though it's nothing. It's an absolute howler.
Yeah, I feel bad.
He's got
for
credit
him.
in the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
he bails us out on numerous occasions, virtually every week. Everybody says that you dread to think where Hearts would be without Craig Gordon. Blah 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 blah. We know he's Scotland's number one best goalkeeper in the country.
Xander Clark's here now, though.
But I'm sorry, Craig, because this is my fault.
It is. It is. I'm glad you've mentioned this.
Do you know what, McIver? I'm an honest man. Sometimes in life, you just got to hold your hands up and say, do you know what? Sorry, guys, I fucked up. And ultimately, when I called out Joe Hart for his Leipzig howler,
I couldn't believe you were doing that when we were about to play Fiorentina and go away to a team that we never
were always going to beat us. The Killie game, I should have known.
Yeah,
with that park. And also, sorry, talking about the first half, I admitted at half time that I got it wrong. You didn't really ask about the selection. I wouldn't have started Robert Snodgrass in this game. I certainly wouldn't have started Michael Smith.
He clearly didn't want to start.
And I knew that Nathaniel Atkinson, would start in place of Smith.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed with Robert Snodgrass in that first half.
I was going to get to him now and then speak about his performance overall. There's a system to this.
It tailed off. It tailed off in the second half. But he was excellent in the first. So, do you know what? Again, hold my hands up. Got it wrong. Well done, Bobby boy.
We score through Robert Snodgrass. And this is what I was saying right at the start of this game.
Ping.
Barry Mackay tracks back, wins the ball, and plays it to Snodgrass.
Christ, you can tell I've not watched the highlights back because I certainly did not see this.
Yes.
Honestly, he went missing. I was considering going to go around Ayrshire and stick up all these posters with just his face saying, "Have you seen this man?" Because I certainly didn't.
Snodgrass, however, did see him, received the ball, and pings it to Stephen Humphreys, who I actually didn't think had a great first half. I thought he was a bit unlucky.
Quiet.
Is more that, just wasn't getting involved. But then it's a fantastic goal. Takes it in his stride, doesn't just take it and trap it. He allows the ball to keep going. Hemmings rushes him.
Big fan of that.
I don't really know why Hemmings rushes out, because the defence is still there and he doesn't have a great
I feel
angle.
as though there was a couple coming back.
Yeah, it was weird. But
one of them was Ash Taylor, who is slower than a week in jail. So
he takes it round Hemmings and just coolly passes it into the far corner. Stephen Humphreys has been our best player in the last 4 games, probably, both domestically.
Since the Rangers game.
Yeah, well, I thought he was good when he came on against Motherwell, but obviously Forrest was our best player in that game. But yeah, since
I'll say 3.
Since the return of after the international break,
yes.
So Rangers, Fiorentina, and now this game, he's been our best player, fully deserved. Really happy for him.
Yeah,
and just buzzing.
But there was a part of me that felt, why have you got to open your account in a defeat? Now?
Yeah.
And it also was looking good from a who scored, because I had 2-1 Kelly.
Yeah.
I actually thought that we would get beaten this game, but needless to say, Natiaka had other ideas.
Well, just before that, there was 3 chances as Ollie Shaw receives a ball over the top, takes actually a really nice touch. Gordon rushes it correctly, and he's Ollie Shaw.
Yeah. Amazed that one of Europe's best young players can tuck that away.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Then, in the 77th minute, Atkinson does really well to hit the byline, crosses it in. Shankland takes it on his chest, and it's by a yard he misses.
That was right up our end, but I thought that was the one.
Really lucky. And then Shankland fucks it as Mackay plays a really nice ball to Humphreys. Humphreys then plays a great cut back to Shankland, and Shankland just swings it out with his weak foot for some reason and plays it right over the bar. And then it's the 95th minute, the last kick of the game.
Oh, hope had previously been lost.
Yes, exactly. Win a free kick, kind of on the halfway line, just a wee bit ahead. To substitute George Grant, who ironically actually did play quite well when he came on after we've been like, he's not good. He actually did all right.
Barely even knew that he came on until he took the set piece. And I was raging at him because he was dicking about with the set piece. I was like, are you going to take this? A matter of urgency here.
Plays it up into the edge of the box. It's failed to clear. And then, to be honest, there's no bones about this. Our best player in the day, man of the match, Nathaniel Atkinson.
Oh, best in the second half, yeah.
Yeah, that's fit. But I'd still say
I thought
overall,
Snodgrass was our outstanding player in the first and Atkinson in the second.
I thought Snodgrass was... I thought Atkinson was still good in the first half, though. I thought he was solid. Just hits probably the best shot he's ever going to hit.
Oh.
And edge of the box volley. Goes into the bottom corner. Hemmings cannot move. Laurie Dunsire and Robert Worthwick have synchronised losing their shit moments. It's great. Killy are furious. Atkinson loses his mind. I just want to say quickly, Atkinson, today, as we're recording this, an interview's just come out with him where he's very candid and honest.
Yeah.
And I thought completely fair play to him. He speaks about how he's dealing mentally with being literally on the other side of the world and not really playing in recent weeks because of a mix of injury, sickness, and Smith domestically has been all right. He's held his own, so he's not had the opportunities he'd like. Well, that's how you do it. You when you come into the team, you put in a performance like that. Really happy for him. I don't understand why we don't just play him as a winger, because he cannot defend, even though he actually was all right defensively in this game. But generally, he's clearly better attacking. In January, I'd buy a new right back and just go, Atkinson, you can just play forwards.
What about a 3-5-2? If I'm whipping in for Humphreys?
No, because he then still has to defend. And it's like, no.
Well, just take the handbrake off, Robbie. Fuck it. Let's go wild.
No, let's not do that. But it's 2-2. We've snatched a point literally at the death. Obviously, it's not the result you want, But when you're 2-0 down, and you score a raker in the last minute to get a point away from home, you take the positives.
I know what you're going to ask me. It's mixed emotions because looking at the rest of this month's fixtures, I can't say that I'm overly confident in any of them. This was the one that we needed to win. And
That's fair.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, a point is essentially as useless as us getting beat, if you're asking me honestly. But
I disagree.
Well, so what's the difference between us getting no points this month and one?
Well, because at the end of the season, that point could be the difference between third and fourth.
Could, but we don't know that for sure.
Like, of course, but it's better to have it.
I hear that. I might well be eating humble pie, but if we lose out by say 2,
of course,
does it matter really?
But it's better to have it than not have it,
and in fairness,
at all.
At 2-0, we looked done. So I will give the boys some praise for that.
And that's what I mean. That's amazing to see.
Being in that position initially through shit goals, individual errors that hopefully we can cut out and rectify in the coming weeks. There you are. Put a positive spin on it in the end.
And we were not helped by the referee who missed.
Oh, the linesman on the left-hand side.
Who missed 2 blatant reds. Hemmings, like we said against the Fiorentina game, Hemmings just handles it outside the box. And then the worst one is Ash Taylor or Lawrence Shankland pulls him down, and you see the ref look at the linesman and go, please put up your flag. I'm not going to send him off. Please put up your flag. It takes about 5 seconds, and eventually the linesman just goes, okay. Right. And he's on a mile. He's not off at all. It should be a red.
They're at it.
But we're not. Anyway, as this comes out, you, alongside thousands of other Hearts fans, will be travelling to Florence. We've just said earlier that this is now the focus should be on the league. We're definitely not going to get anything. Obviously, you all have a great time. Whoa. I mean, do you think we're going to get something? You think we're going to get something in Florence?
I don't think that, but I mean, I'm a football fan. This is what I do. Why not dare to dream?
Because then you just get more annoyed, like we've seen for the last hour.
No, I'm not going to get annoyed at us over there. I'm annoyed at the home performance, but ultimately in Italy, anything could happen. I mean, they'll probably shag us 6-0, 5-6-0. Yeah,
that's definitely what's going to happen.
I'm going to say 0-1 Florence Shankland with the goal.
Right, I'm going to say 5-0 half time.
Half time. It was 5-0 at half time. I might just turn around and start chatting to the fans. I won't even bother watching the rest of the game.
But then for me, the much more important game, we travel to Pataudry.
Great, because they've got such a great record up there.
Yeah.
And the dire straits that Aberdeen are in, they're probably thinking, oh, thank Christ, we've got Hearts next time.
I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we'll have Halkett back for that point. I think if it's a touch and go, I wouldn't play him because we need him for longer. I'd say him
for the Riga game.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Because I don't want him chucked in against Celtic either.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know what's going to happen. Jim Goodwin obviously isn't there. Serving his second of 8 games.
What just somehow miraculously claim a point or all 3 in Florence? And then compete off Aberdeen. As only we could.
Yeah.
Oh, God, this football club are going to be the death of me, I swear.
But
I'm actually not as angry as I previously was, remarkably. I know that it was tricky to believe.
That's insane.
I have somewhat calmed down because I was buzzing. I just feel like I've let it all out. Honest to God, people, if you're struggling in any walk of life, start a podcast, ramble your thoughts. It's incredibly therapeutic. Honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done with regards to watching Hearts. It's great.
Well,
or you can come on. Feel free to hit us up in the DMs if you want to get something off your chest. By all means, we'll give you that chance. Scars Around the Funnel have started that.
I was about to say, though, we can't steal their gimmick. That's their thing.
No, of course we can. They're not going to notice. They don't care.
Right. So, hopefully I'm going to get you angry all over again because it's the quiz.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. Again, we've got...
Have I really just said that we will claim something?
Yeah, you have. It's mental. We're moving on.
We're definitely not.
We've got a true or false.
But hey, if you fancy pulling out,
woohoo! We've got a true or false, a multiple choice, and a who am I. Let's see how you do. Right.
I can't wait to not get the true or false, despite a 50-50
I know.
every week.
Right. So the first question is a historical question.
Oh, Christ, because I'm brushed up on my history.
Who was the first ever captain of Heart of Midlothian?
I do not have a Scooby. I've got no idea. Gary Glenn.
Yes, it's Gary Glenn. He's 1 for 1. No, it was Tom Purdy, who was our captain for 3 years.
Great.
I think.
I know all about him.
Yep.
I remember him playing in the 1870s.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
now,
on, McIver.
Number 2. Hey, fuck you. You with your questions where you have to get 8 things for a point and then get 7. And it's like, no, you get none. And on that, let's travel to Pittodrie this weekend.
Oh, Christ.
But how many goals were scored between the two sides last season?
Jesus. Right.
Now you've got an advantage because it's less games.
We met 3 times in the league.
Yep.
We drew 1 each at Tynecastle.
Right.
So that's 2. We lost 2-1 up there. 2 + 3, 5. And we beat Aberdeen at Tynecastle 2-0. So that's 7. Isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Nice.
See, when I was doing that, I couldn't remember any of those games apart from the 1-1. I just remember Halliday's red card at Pittodrie. That's all I remember.
1-1 was shit. I remember going absolutely mental at the John Suter.
Oh, Suter scored a penalty or something. Yeah, I forgot that.
Pissed that away.
Yeah.
And then they were rank. I couldn't remember the last scoreline, but it was 2. That could have been 5 or 6 because they were rubbish.
You're 1 for 2. It's respectable.
Right. We'll take that.
Here comes the true or false.
Oh,
as we are recording this, it is Andy Halliday's birthday. So I thought, let's get an Andy Halliday question.
Oh, God.
So, true or false? Andy Halliday has only played for one club more times than he has for Hearts. So, if that's weirdly worded, I'm saying true or false. Has Andy Halliday only played for a club
He's made the second
more
most
times
appearances for Hearts than
out of his career? Is that true or false?
God. How long was he at Rangers? He was longer at Rangers than he was at us. But I can remember him being loaned. He had a funny loan. Was it not to like some Azerbaijani team or something?
Oh, I dickhead.
Second most.
Yeah.
How many
it's
times
hard to
have he played for
Midlothian
Bradford or Middlesbrough? He's had a load of clubs, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
The second most. I am going to say that is true.
He's finally got a true or false.
Yes!
It's true.
Come on.
So,
is it only Rangers that he's played more for?
Only Rangers. He's played 152 times for Rangers. For us, he's played 80 times. And then there's a big jump
80
down.
times, really?
Yeah. There's a big jump down to his next side is Middlesbrough with 42.
Wow, if you were asking me, I'd have thought he would have played for Bradford more than he played for Middlesbrough.
Bradford, he played 10 less games. He played 32 times for Bradford.
Interesting. Must have only had a season. Do you remember when he was outstanding for them
against Chelsea?
In that game at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah. He got man of the match.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a time to
he was raging though, because that meant he missed Jose Mourinho coming into the team, coming into the dressing room and congratulating everyone because he was doing media. Yeah. I remember him telling that story. Anyway, you got a true or false. Here's the multiple choice.
Come on.
Hearts have scored 15 goals in the league this season. At this stage last year, so game week 9, how many had we scored? Was it A, 15? Was it B, 17? Or was it C, 19?
Did we batter anybody really early on?
Who knows?
Sure.
Me.
We played. Yeah, thanks. Good thing. We played United at Tannadice early on because I thought about the 5-2
yes, we did.
that would have come after 9 games, surely. I'm gonna go because we didn't even. What did we end up on? About 54 league goals in the season? over 38 games. That's
Correct,
one
yeah.
and a bit per game. I will say
I will say this, we were one position higher than we currently are. At this point, we were fourth. We're currently fifth.
I'm going to say 15 goals again.
So you think we've scored the exact same amount?
Do I think that? Yeah, that's the least of the options, isn't it?
That is the reason.
17,
That's
19.
a 15.
Yeah, I'm going to go 50.
He's got it again. It's 15. So it's very
I'm
interesting,
three
like the
for 4
perception,
here.
the perception of last season's start to this season's start, we scored the exact same
We
amount of
just
goals.
can't account for everybody else being simultaneously shit.
We've also conceded way more.
This season?
Yeah. Because our defence is just, we can't put a defence out.
Yeah, it's makeshift. I mean,
Right.
2 at St Johnstone at Tynecastle.
The who am I? Can he get 2 in a row?
No chance.
So, I joined Hearts in a controversial contract agreement. My debut was in a 3-0 comfortable win, but I barely touched the ball, a description from the Evening News at the time. I am a centre midfielder. Despite signing a 3.5-year deal with Hearts, my future was brought into doubt only 7 months after my signing. My contract was then cancelled by Hearts, and on the same day as it was cancelled, I appeared as a trialist for an English lower league club. I have featured in Scotland, England, Argentina, Cyprus, and Lithuania.
Ocha. Scotland, England, Argentina, Cyprus, and Lithuania, did you say?
Yes.
Christ. When did this player sign for Hearts?
He signed for us in summer 2007.
Oh, God. A central midfield player.
Yes.
I've got something in my head, but I don't know if it's true. To ask for the clubs, but I feel like that's...
You've got one more question.
Yeah, the clubs is usually a cracker, to be fair. The clubs at least leads on a path. I'll ask for their previous clubs.
That's it. The one question I didn't want. We're going to be here for 10 years. Right.
Right, okay. That's great.
I won't know how to pronounce most of these. Just
That's fine.
as a
Okay.
warning. Hurricane, Espoli, Benevento, Sion, Inter Riviera Maya, Ponferradina, Talares, Defensoros de Belgrano, FBK Kaunas, Heart of Midlothian, Ayanapa, Deportivo.
No chance did he leave Hearts to sign for Ayanapa. What a gaff.
Deportivo Español, Doc Sud, Club Social e Deportivo Liniers, Sacachispas Football Club, and Argentino de Merlo.
I don't have the foggiest. I thought it was going to be Bruno Aguiar or something like that, but evidently not. 2007. I'm trying to think of the strip that we'd wear in 2007. 2006 was the Hummel. Then the year after that, 06, 07 would have been the one that had the minging sort of like white bib.
Mm-hmm.
And the year after that was 07, 08, when we went back to Umbro. I think it was.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of players that would have played in this kit.
Let's search. Yes, we were with him, bro. It was
Thanks for the extra clue.
It was the weird one with the white lines down the side.
Yes. And
I often think did Ruben Palazuelos that kit?
Was it the collar as well?
I don't know. These aren't very good images.
Oh my God. Centre mid. Who would have been kicking a ball for us in the middle of the park back then? I do not have the foggiest. I really don't know. 2007. Who would have signed for us from Lithuania? You had Mikelinas, Chesnauskis, Velichka. Was it Ivas Kevichus? Is that the boy's name?
That was a guy that we had.
I can't remember where he played though. Who else? Oh God. I realise this is a long episode, team. I do apologise. I'd be inclined to go for Ivaskevicius, because I can't think of anybody else in and around that time. I'm assuming this bloke is Lithuanian. I know I've had my clues, so don't answer that. But
I won't answer.
I'm thinking in terms of logically. But then he started his career elsewhere. Oh God. What was the first club again? Sorry.
It was Hurricane. I don't know if I'm about Huracan.
A-N. Right, so that's South America somewhere. Is that Chilean? Is that Argentinian? It must be Argentinian if that was the clue that you gave earlier. Who goes from Argentina to Lithuania to end up in Gorgie? How does that happen? Argentina. I don't have a clue, mate. I really don't know.
You're very settled on the Argentina aspect.
Don't try and piss me off, mate. Would it be a Paisley? Was Paisley around that time? You look like the face that you're putting.
Right, we need an answer.
Surely you'd go back to Bosnia if you were Paisley. I don't have a clue, mate. I am going to say the boy Ivaskevicius because he was in my head earlier. Don't know.
You're incorrect. You were right to stick with Argentina, as it is the Argentine Fernando Screpis.
Who?
I don't know. He played 4 times for us.
I've never heard of that bloke in my life.
Are you ready for the most Vladimir Romanov signing you've ever heard in your fucking life?
Sorry, as if 9-year-old Adam's going to remember this bloke having seen him play 4 times for us.
Right. So, you asked a question that I knew you'd ask, so I tricked you. You asked when he signed. This is the official link, right? Screpis signed a 3.5-year deal with the Edinburgh club during a trial in Austria in the summer of 2007. However, it did not take effect until January 1st, 2008.
You motherfucker.
As Screpis agreed to spend 6 months with Vladimir Romanov-sponsored FBK Kaunas before defecting to Scotland.
There was nothing illegitimate about
Nothing
that whatsoever.
Nothing at all.
That was never, a money laundering scheme or anything like that.
No. So we signed on.
McIver, I've been following Hearts for 20 years. I can wholeheartedly say, hand on heart, I've never heard of this bloke, ever.
Near had I until I looked up the squad and went, he's no getting him.
You're an arsehole.
Getting him. Hey, you did incoming for me.
Hey, I've been shafted. I thought the incoming clues were all right.
This boy's played 5 times the amount of
first ever
times.
captain of Hearts, like I'm some walking heart of Midlothian Bible, and this fella.
You got 3 out of 5.
I could have got full marks in this bloody quiz. This is bullshit.
Didn't he?
I even got the true or false right.
I know, it's a hugely historic moment.
This is shite, man. Honestly, that geezer's going to give me nightmares. But carry on. The Vlad signing.
So yeah, we signed him, and then we just sent him to Lithuania for 6 months. Then between
did we act like we didn't sign him?
Yeah, we didn't.
Like we did, but we didn't.
Yeah. He then played 5 times for us between January and May. And then, as I say, he signed a 3.5 deal, and in May it was like, we don't want you, you're rubbish.
I would love to know who he played in these appearances.
He played Inverness. That was his debut.
Oh, I remember that one.
We beat them. We got beat 2-0 against Killy. He played against that. And I don't know the other 3.
It sounds like a stellar Hearts career, that.
Exactly. So then he revealed, because he just turned up at Plymouth in July 2008, and he went,
Right.
Hearts have cancelled my contract. I'll appear as a trialist. Plymouth took him as a trialist. He said no, and then went to Iron Apple.
Love that. This geezer's a cult hero. I'm saying I've never heard of the guy, but if I'd go to Iron Apple and leave Edinburgh like that,
He had a hairband.
what a time! I remember it well.
He looked 83 when he was at us, even though he was 26. His middle name's Daniel, so it's all tied together.
I've never heard of this guy in my entire life. What? He was 26 then. So he'll be in his 40s now.
Oh, he also got sent off against Gretna.
Against Gretna, Jesus, that wasn't the
yesterday,
no, was it?
No, there's a photo of him trying to stop referee John Underhill sending off Gary Glenn.
What did you say this geezer's name was?
Fernando Skrepis.
I've just come back onto Google, talking about the hockey assist and the tangent that never was.
Oh, yeah.
In ice hockey, an assist is attributed to up to 2 players of the scoring team who shot, passed, or deflected the puck towards the scoring teammate. There you are. So they were assisting. I know my shit. But I don't know Fernando
Skrepis. Spelled as it sounds. But as Adam is looking at
Fernando, it was a K rather than a C.
Oh, no, sorry, it's a C.
43. It's his current team. This geezer's not still playing.
It's from the last time he made an appearance was 2017.
For Argentino de Merlo. Do want McIver. I've not heard of this geezer. Come on. Geezer break.
Well, we hope you've all heard of him and hope that you have enjoyed.
If anybody has that, they can replace me on the pod next week.
My brother got Enkelman, by the way.
I see. Kier, you know your shit.
Let's see if he gets Scrapits.
If he does. Oh my God.
If he does, he's hosting. It's his show next week.
100%.
Right. Apologies for the longer episode, but there was a lot to talk about. Adam had a lot to get off his chest.
Yeah. A lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of wondering who Fernando Skrepis is. So I do apologise. I will be in better spirits next week. I'm anticipating 2 defeats, but I'm going to get pissed on my pals.
He'll still be drunk when he comes
home. It'll be a great laugh. And that's what I was going to say. Anybody that is off to Florence, give us a wee wave. We'll have a wee drink together. It'll be good. It'll be good. Looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the football. The football might ruin the trip, but it'll be good.
Well, I hope you all have a great time as we get the ninth.
No, you don't.
The ninth rifles
we're
in.
hoping that we get. You're hoping that we get absolutely horsed.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. But we hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice if that's how you've been listening to us. If you've been watching us on YouTube, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can get us on all the social media at Perth to Paisley. We're also got an email, perthpaisley@gmail.com as well. Adam, where can they get you on social media?
They can get me on the socials at Adam TK.
What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I'm just not looking forward to this week or the week after.
It'll be fine. It's going to be totally fine. We're going to win all the games and we'll end this month top of the week.
This is that meme where it's like the house is burning and we're just the dog.
Yes, this is fine.
This is fine.
It's fine. We will be back next week to discuss the Fiorentina game, the Aberdeen game, anything else that's happened, see how Fernando Skrepis is getting on in his personal life. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Come on, the Hearts!